What's up, people? In this video, I guess we're going to mix it up a little bit and listen to alpha male strategies. Why I don't respect married men. All right, should be good. Red pill stuff. Okay, fine. Mix it up. Little bit of eating disorder. Little bit of fucking mukbang. A little bit of red pill stuff.
So a common question that keeps coming up in the comment section is, if I get in a relationship, does that make me beta? Or if I get married, does that make me beta? Well, beta or not, that's up for opinion. To me, it does make you beta, but that's up for opinion. Everybody has a different opinion on that. But what I will say is, I have absolutely no respect for married men. None. And I'm going to tell you why. Guys, as men, we have to have principles and things we stand by. Nobody's supposed to make us do any fucking thing. You understand what I'm saying? I think everybody pretty much feels or knows that a man gets the raw end of the stick in a divorce. I think every guy knows that. So what man in his good sense would still get fucking married? All right? The only type of men that get married are men that got bitched by a woman. And by being bitched, I mean she put the ultimatum to you. She threatened to take her little fish hole away from you. And you got scared and you caved in like a little bitch and gave her what she wanted and married her. Or you had a scarcity mindset, or you don't get laid reliably, and so you wanted to get married so you could have reliable sex. And I'm gonna tell you why that's bad.
God. All right. So, homie looks pretty angry, and it's like a theme you see like with a lot of this red pill stuff. So like, and again, I say this in every fucking red pill video that I do, but like I'm not like a stranger to these concepts. Like I was in the fucking rabbit hole, you know, read everything like Rollo Tomasi, Illimitable Men, fucking the whole sidebar. Like it was on the subreddit every day, blah blah blah, and I came back to like participate in society without being bitter about how the game is played. So what did he say? Like, if you're all right, so first of all, like I don't like using terms like this, like beta. If I do this, am I beta? Right? That's not like. Why don't you like explain it in literal terms, right? Why don't you explain in literal terms what that is? Because saying you're beta, I'm beta, he's alpha, blah blah blah. That's number one. Those descriptions are situational, right? So for example, let's say you take the most like alpha male in the world and you put him in a situation where he has no situational confidence, and he needs to perform. Is he going to? Probably not. He's going to be a beta, right? For example, let's say you put him in an extremely technical, he needs to fly a fucking plane, right? Guy has no idea how to fly a plane. And if he doesn't, he's going to die, right? Like there's people there who know how to fly a plane, who are like skinny weaklings, let's say. And you take, you know, typical alpha male, right? Whatever, put him there. Like he's not going to fucking fly the plane, right? He's going to let the other people fly the plane. Is that beta? No. Anyway, let's start there. That's number one. Number two, it's, I think, possible to be in a relationship with a girl and not let her, like, okay, so relationships are like a lot about power, right? There's always one person who cares less, one person who cares more, and in general, the person who cares less is the one who has the power, right? It's like common concept, let's just say. It's most of the time it's the girl who cares less because she has so many more options normally, right? It's, however, I think possible to be in a relationship and, you know, be a guy and to care less about the relationship than the girl does. And I think if that is the case, then I think that you're not necessarily being a beta. Oh God, now I'm saying it. And as far as getting married, like the one of the problems with like a lot of this red pill stuff is that it doesn't really account for like actual traditional households, like religious households, okay? If you're talking about secular people who don't come from a religious background or have like abandoned their religious, you know, values, like their family's like religious values, I guess, then this red pill stuff is like more true. But if you're talking about like very strict, like people, you know, religious people, basically like Christian, Muslim, Jewish, these people have a lot of values basically that kind of, I don't want to say predict their behavior, but these values are essentially behavioral guidelines where if you break these guidelines, then I don't want to say you're like an outcast, but like the rest of the group will You can't do it. The peer pressure is just too strong. It doesn't happen, basically. Things like getting divorced, things like cheating, things like, I don't know, like also other things like allowing the man to be the man and having the woman, take a more traditional female role. All that stuff is just kind of that's like the framework of a religious household. It's just kind of naturally like that. So like the stuff that he's saying about, talking about all this other stuff for like secular people, I guess that is more true. I'm not saying secular marriages can't work, but normally like these problems are virtually non-existent in like extremely religious households.
And why I don't respect that? Because as a man, you're supposed to be able to live alone as a fucking man. So even if you aren't getting reliable sex, for you to go and put your whole financial future on the line to be with some woman so you can have some companionship, motherfucker, if you want some companionship, go get a motherfucking puppy. Go get a motherfucking turtle. I don't give a fuck what you got to do to get some fucking companionship. You don't get the fucking state involved in your fucking business when you see over and over and over what happened to guys who pay alimony, let the woman have to have keep the house, child support, and God knows what else. All right. Now, for you guys, they're gonna say, but what about the guys who want families? And listen, I'm all with that. You don't got to get the fucking state in your business to have a family. All right. So it goes back to my first point. All right. You got bitched because most women won't let you shack with them, or a lot of women. I ain't gonna say most women. A lot of women won't let you shack with them. You can have you can have kids and all this and that other, but a lot of women put their foot down and won't let you shack. So they threaten to take their fucking fish hole away from you, and you fucking nutted on yourself and bitched up and went on and married the bitch. That's why I can't respect married.
Okay. I don't know. It's just funny the way he talks. So what did he say? Basically what he's saying is you can if you want a family, you can still have kids and just not get married, right? And I think that's a valid point. I think so on the surface, like conceptually that sounds like it would work, right? Like what's the issue with marriage, right? And this is like, I guess I believe this also, but like what's the issue with marriage is that it's a legal contract, right? Where the effect is that you're basically like becoming one person legally, one entity, and if you do decide to get a divorce, you split everything. Okay, but where that kind of becomes a problem is that normally the woman takes the kids, just normally that's what happens, and the man is the one who works, and then the man, if they break up, he has to pay alimony, which is child support, and basically he has to pay her. I'm not sure exactly how it works. He has to like pay her like. He has to pay like some portion of his earnings to her, right? So like basically he has to essentially support her and support the kids until they turn 18, or I think, what is it, for like half the duration that they were married, something like that. I'm not sure, but the bottom line is like he has to support her, which again, on paper, it sounds fair, but when you create the system like that, unfortunately, like any fucking bureaucracy, it's going to be abused by people who, have their own best interests at heart, let's say. So what's the point is that it makes sense to think, okay, if you want to have kids, okay, like you can have kids with somebody and be their life partner and live together and like whatever, you can have kids and do all that, but why get married? Why like create that legal contract is kind of the point. And that's a valid point. And like I said, in theory that sounds good. And I guess I can't really point to too many people who have done that. I wonder if my ex-girlfriend did that, because I think she mentioned how her parents weren't married, but they like lived together their whole life, and then one of these days like her dad just split up, but they were never married to begin with, something like that. I think I seem to remember that, and she turned out normal, very sweet girl. But yeah, most of the time it doesn't. I don't know. I want to say most of the time it doesn't work, but I'm not really sure. I think the reason is because most of the time the people who like have kids but don't get married are not these like enlightened people who are like, I would like to have a family and raise kids, but I don't want to bring the state into it with a legal contract. It's just like some like whatever guy, like fuck some hood rat or something. She gets pregnant and like disappears. You know what I mean? That's generally what happens. What he said about like being scared to lose, like scarcity mentality, like you're scared to like lose. It's not just sex. I think that's kind of misleading to say that it's only sex. I think it's to lose like that person in your life, which like you can like be like a tough like red pill guy, and like I understand this is like a message for men. You want to like act tough. I get it. But it's not just like the whole that you're losing, right? You get to like the person, become part of your life. Change is hard. It's all that stuff. So like if you are kind of like given an ultimatum and you decide to marry this person as a result of that, I think that's not good. But I don't think that's why most men get married. I think most of them are just like in love, and they want to do it because they want to like show their love in that way. It's like a very big statement, right? It's like you care so much about this person, whether it's justified or not, that you want to like, you're like, well, what else can I do? You can buy her something, you take her on a trip, you do all this. But if you get married, if you like propose and you fucking plan this wedding, you do all this shit, it's a very large gesture. I think really that's the motivation, not like to preserve your like sex hole or something. I don't know.
Men, we supposed to be on our purpose. We supposed to be about ourselves. We supposed to be about our grind, not getting bitched by some woman. Not letting no woman put no fucking ultimatum to our heads, making us feel like if we don't marry her, she gonna leave us. Bitch, bye. You still here? Bye. I'll replace your motherfucking ass. So guys, let me tell you something. I'm 38 years old. Y'all don't think I get girls? Listen, it's hard enough for a woman to even try to talk to me about a relationship. Guys, I meet women all the time that just want me to be steady with them in a fucking relationship. I get ultimatums all the fucking time. All the fucking time. I fuck around with a girl 1, 2, 3 months, and here come that fucking ultimatum. Where's this headed? I don't know. Where we headed? To the store? Because we ain't getting no fucking relationship. So the point of me saying all this, guys, is that women come to me with that bullshit too. I'm not immune to it. Not for marriage, but for just a fucking relationship. They can't even get that from me. Because I'm a pure fucking alpha man. I can live on my own. You ain't gonna threaten me. All these fucking fish holes out here, man, you ain't gonna threaten me. So when you see these guys who are married, understand that most of them are woman bitched. Motherfucker, you gonna marry me or I'm taking my fish hole and I'm leaving. And so these motherfuckers get scared of the woman taking their fish hole away from them. And so they marry her. Or they got a fear of being alone. And so they go and marry a woman, which is fine and dandy, except you got Big Daddy State hanging over your head, ready to take all your shit if shit goes bad. Every man.
So yeah, all right. So basically it comes down to like, first of all, it's like scarcity mentality, right? Is part of it, where if you decide to get married because like you just don't have any options and you don't think you can get anything better, and like you're getting older and like, you like think you should have kids, like I know that's why most people get married. Like honestly, like I talk about a lot about like religious households, but I think if you're going to get married, you should probably like try to lead like a more religious life, just because the values that are present in like traditional religious households are values that are like conducive to living a happily married life with a family. Okay, not necessarily because like, oh, it's about God or this and that. Like it's the modern world. I think most people like don't believe that there's like some fucking man in the sky like pulling strings. It's more just like a means to an end, right? Like this is very common, like in Judaism, where there's like 613 I think laws, or they're called mitzvot, where basically these are all like things that when you do them, I think it's not a blessing, but like it's like a good thing to do them, right? They're essentially like rules, but it's not like rules in like the strict Catholic sense, like you need to do this or you're going to hell. It's like a rule that if you follow, you're like making God happy or something like that. So I guess, you follow the rules, but like with a better intention. Maybe that's where the Jewish guilt comes from, I guess, because like if you don't do them, you feel guilty. I'm not really sure, whatever. But all of these rules like have a specific purpose, I guess, in mind. And when you follow these rules, like, let's say you have a very complex system, when you create the system, think of the system like a machine, and when you crank the machine, a certain result will be kind of like produced from the machine. And you put like beings in here, crank it. Let's call the machine the Jewish religious values machine. Crank it, and out come like the results of that, which is like, call it whatever you want, but to paraphrase, let's say like, and again, like not to like fucking trigger any of you like anti-Jewish people who like think we're like controlling the world and like blah blah blah, but like let's be real, like and this is the good and the bad, right? I'll only say the good things because like it's my video, I can do what I want. Let's say financially successful, let's say is going to piss people off, like higher IQ on average, good with money, what else? I don't know. Intelligent? Did I say that already? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, also what I think is like lower divorce rates and more like cohesive family units, right? You could say the same about Islam, about Christianity. I just have less experience with that because I'm neither of those things. And also in terms of like, well, yeah.
And every man knows that. So what kind of man would still go get fucking married? Think about that for a second. I want y'all to think about that. What type of man, knowing how the state is and divorces towards men, would still in his right conscious mind still go get married? So either you have.
Oh, I know what he's gonna say. Like, there's this whole like conception in the red pill Reddit community that like marriage is always bad 100% of the time. And I guess based on like the point that I made earlier, I think if you do commit to living like a religious lifestyle, then the threat of divorce is much less. Like, I don't want to say it's non-existent. Always gonna have like a little bit of that, but there's a lot more leverage on people to stay together. Number one, it's kind of like shameful in the community to get a divorce, because it like implies that you haven't been following the rules properly. It's number one. Number two, I think that religious people overall, like, say what you want about religion, I think they're just less vindictive overall, like less likely to fucking get a divorce lawyer and like ruin your life, like for what? It's just less likely to happen. I guess you could make the argument because like the religious values are in place, and most of them are basically say like be a good person, and here's how. But like again, I think I think marriage can work, and I think just because the threat of divorce is there, and just because women generally in most states tend to get the better end of the deal through a divorce, and there is a fair amount of incentive for them to get divorced financially, I don't think that means that all of them will value the process of divorce and the benefits that they get from divorce over staying with their husband. Okay, I don't think it's so cut and dry. I think that they have like a lot of perceived benefits, to them at least, for staying married, okay, regardless of whether or not they're religious. Although I think that those benefits are more pronounced if they are religious.
Have a fear of being alone, or a woman bitch you. It's one or the other. Guys, I know a lot of you guys are young, and you're doing your thing, you're on your purpose. Let me tell you right now, you're gonna run into women who gonna hit you with that ultimatum. Stand by your truth. Don't be coming on my motherfucking channel talking about some, yeah, I'm on my purpose, yeah, I'm in my abundance mindset, and the first girl that comes along and threatening to take her fish hole away from you, her fucking little stinky pussy hole away from you, you bitch up and, oh, you in a relationship, and then 6 months you married. Guys, fuck that shit. All right, fuck that shit. Don't let no woman bitch you. All right, if you want to get in a relationship, get in a fucking relationship. But let it be something you want to do. But what I have to ask you is why you want to get in a fucking relationship. All right, why you want to be in a fucking relationship? If you generally want to start a family, then good. Keep the fucking state out your business. But at some point, a lady gonna come hit you with an ultimatum that if you don't marry her, she's gonna take her fish hole away from you. And I'm gonna tell you why she wants to get married. Because she knows the fucking state is on her side, motherfuckers. She knows the state is on her side. She wants that security. The security of raping your ass if the shit go bad in the court of law. That's the whole point of why women love marriage, because they know the laws are on their side. It ain't that they want this big old Christian thing. No, they want to get married because they know that the law is on their side. They get a lot more security that way. And as a man, you know that, and you still let a woman bitch you, so I can't respect that. All right? Now, if you ain't know no better, you just watching this video and you married, go ahead. But what I know, man, you got dating coaches out there that have been married almost 20 years teaching guys how to date, so what I know, I'm just a guy here dating 5, 6 chicks at a time, and you got dating coaches who've been married for 20 years, so hey, what I know. But like I said, guys, at some point, don't let a woman bitch you. At some point, she's gonna try. Stand by your truth, be a fucking man.
So, whatever.
Don't let no woman bitch you. All right? Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, guys, don't let no woman bitch you into no relationship or marriage. If that's some shit you really want to do, then hey, do you. But don't let no woman put her damn foot on your throat and make you feel like you got to do some shit. Be a fucking man. Be able to live alone. Tell that bitch she can step if you have to. Take her fucking fish hole on and go play with somebody else. All right? I get that shit all the time, guys. I get girls who...
All right. I get it. So... I don't want this to like... I don't know. I mean... Also, I think it depends on like the type of girls you're dating. I think girls who like, and whatever. I don't want this to like turn into like, it's gonna sound bad, but like, I don't know the type of girls that he's dating. I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like, like he's like a black guy, right? Like, is he dating like mainly black girls? Nothing against like black girls, black guys, black people in general, but I'm thinking like, is it more likely that like, this is like the most like politically correct thing I've ever said, somebody that comes from like, let's say like lower socioeconomic background might be more interested / likely to use these, let's call them like mechanisms of the state to take advantage of somebody, take advantage of like their former life partner or spouse, right? Is that possible, right? And he seems like a very confident guy. I haven't seen his apartment. I don't know what he does. Seems like very confident and motivated. I'm assuming he's like financially successful. So, and again, I don't know if he like only dates black girl. I don't know. I know nothing about him, right? But if like that's the pool of women that he's dating from are not like, like whatever, like people that come from a higher socioeconomic background, people who might like see a guy like this, who like, let's say successful, as their meal ticket, might be more likely to either like try and manipulate him into signing a legal contract, like a marriage, for potentially taking advantage of him later in divorce court. So I think that's something I think it's worth mentioning. I don't really know, but in a broader sense, the whole like with all this red pill stuff, like I said earlier, I think one of the mistakes, or not a mistake necessarily, but they focus a lot on like relationships between secular people. I know like sometimes like finding like your traditional girl with like religious girl, traditional values, it's like casually mentioned sometimes, but like all of these examples are generally pulled from like the secular world, like like they take the extreme, like, oh, some feminist said this, there was this article in BuzzFeed that said that, like men are bad people, and part of that I think is to like make the point about like to make the red pill thing more popular, men's rights movement, MGTOW, like to make it more popular, because like again, I'm not saying any of the stuff he says is incorrect per se, and I think he's being genuine in his communication. I think he really does believe that stuff. But when you how many subs does this guy have? When your fame, I guess, doesn't say how many subs. Interesting. I don't know, whatever. When you're like a source of your livelihood is based on a specific ideology. This happens in fitness too, but it's much harder to like tone down your message or, like soften it at all. It's like the thing, like I mentioned in Greg Doucette's video, right? Like the guy promotes like 6 meals a day, and then this like fasting thing comes along. He can't be like, well, actually, yeah, fasting's really good too, because that's gonna like hurt his business model. So like a guy like this can't really say, marriage is mostly bad, but actually sometimes it's good, because that's like hurting his business model. I'm not saying that's why he's doing it, but it's just kind of like a thing that happens unconsciously. Anyway, a couple of people asked me to do this guy Alpha Male Strategies. Glad that I did, I guess. Good to mix it up with the fucking eating disorder shit. You guys have any other suggestions for videos? Let me know. Leave me a comment. And again, if you like my videos, you like me, you want to see me succeed, then I encourage you to share this video with like one person even. Yeah, that'd be cool. Peace.